Hey guys, welcome back to my next YouTube video, and in this video I'll be going over why I have taken an $8,000 position in AMD and what my thought process is with how long I plan on holding this stock. So in case you didn't know, AMD is a microchip company and specializes in CPUs. AMD came up with their Ryzen line of CPUs back in 2017 and were known to be a lot cheaper than their rivals Intel, but they were not as great as them when it came to gaming. For that reason, they have fallen behind Intel's much more viewed and greater chip. For the last 3 generations of CPUs AMD has came out with, Intel has always remained in the lead when it came to consumer purchases. However, this is set to change with AMD's fourth generation Ryzen 5000 series. The company has finally erased the one advantage that Intel has retained throughout the last couple of years. These new Ryzen chips will not only do well with heavily multi-threaded tasks, but they will now outperform Intel chips in gaming, which was the main selling point in the past for Intel. In response, Intel is planning to launch a new Rocket Lake desktop chips early next year with hopes to compete with AMD's now dominant Ryzen chip. However, it still might not be enough for Intel to take its lead back. Their Rocket chip will only have 8 cores, while the new AMD will have 16 cores for only $799. Intel, in order to compete with, will probably have to offer their cheap chip for a lot lower price, but even then still might not be enough. This is the main reason that I decided to take a position into AMD and will probably look at to add more. They have finally taken over the microchip, seeing that in the past Intel has absolutely dominated. If they continue doing this, they will grow exponentially as a company. Now let's take a look at AMD's chart. So as you can see, AMD has just seen spectacular growth, and I believe this will only continue. You can see it has done amazing during this pandemic. My entry is at 83.45, and let me pull that up to show you that. So here's AMD. I have 100 shares, and my trade price is at 83.48. Sorry. And also I'll show you the actual value of how much it costs. So you can see up here on my portfolio on the desktop version, I've got 100 shares. The current price of AMD is at 85.88, and it cost $8,348, and currently I'm up $239 on it. So I still have an $8,000 position in it. I just showed you on Thinkorswim just because it doesn't show you your current trade price for the current stock you're on, but my average is, as you can see, 83.48. Now let's go back to the actual chart. So I plan on holding this at least till it gets back to its previous highs of 95. I probably will consider holding this more just because I actually like the company and this will be a long-term investment. But if it does get back up to 95, I might sell some of my position and then re-enter back in. But I like this company as a whole and will probably hold on to it for a while and actually probably add on to my already existing position. So now that we have looked at AMD's chart and seen just this huge amount of growth through the pandemic, and how they've been actually performing, let's take a look at Intel's performance. So as you can see, that Intel hasn't had or nearly had as much growth as AMD has. It hasn't actually had any growth hardly. As you can see, we had this initial sell-off during the pandemic and we pushed up, but then we had earnings come out and we just saw this massive gap down. And we tried to push up again, and earnings recently came out and they missed expectations, and we had another gap down and push down. So as you can see, AMD's growth has not been hardly anything this year. It's at previous lows of what it was during the pandemic, whereas AMD has seen nothing but growth during the pandemic. So this is why one of the main reasons that I'm choosing AMD as my investment for the microchip sector, just because they've had this amazing growth even during this pandemic, while Intel has just continued to sell off quarter after quarter. So I believe that AMD will be the stock to have in your portfolio for, the microchip sector, or the semiconductor sector. So that wraps up this video. So I appreciate y'all watching, and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you want to see in the upcoming videos.